Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Real Deal. My name is Andrew Fantasia. Thanks so much for watching. Of course, if you like this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and give some love to that subscribe button so I can keep making these videos for all you beautiful, shiny, happy people. Now, let's get down to business. This is the show where we talk about all the entertainment news of note that dropped during the week. This was a tricky week to find news because yesterday was April Fool's Day. So half of the news I found was very, very far from real. Did you like Doctor Strange and all those crazy little hand things he did? Well, so did a lot of people. So much so that the Doctor Strange sequel is quickly rolling its way into the stages of pre-production, and they're already talking about the villain. According to an interview with the writer and the director of the film, they have already landed on the villain who they want to appear in Doctor Strange 2. And that villain is Nightmare. No, not that really cool looking Dungeons & Dragons horse that's like undead and covered in fire. No, not the classic 80s board game that made up a huge chunk of my childhood. That's the one. This is Nightmare. He is a Marvel Comics villain. If you're a hardcore comics fanatic, you probably know all about Nightmare and all the crazy powers he must have. I mean, look at that. That looks like somebody I would not want to cross in a dark alley. Now, personally, I don't know all that much about Nightmare, but then again, I didn't know all that much about Dormammu going into Doctor Strange 1, and I had the time of my life. So, bring on the Nightmare. I'm hoping that this is the kind of villain that Doctor Strange can kind of go toe-to-toe with, because Dormammu was not that kind of villain. He was basically a Sauron kind of guy. He was an eye in the sky with a big booming voice, and he was just a league unto himself. Whereas this guy looks like he hopefully might be more down to earth. Somebody Strange could actually tangle with in the real world as well. Now that raises the question, what about Baron Mordo? Mordo was kind of Doctor Strange's frenemy in the first movie, but if you're vaguely familiar with the comics or if you've seen the post-credits scene, you know that Baron Mordo doesn't stay a good guy for very long. In fact, he is Doctor Strange's arch enemy, and we're all assuming Chiwetel Ejiofor is going to show up in Doctor Strange 2, so are we getting two villains for the price of one? My money's on yes. After all, in the first movie, we didn't just have Dormammu, we had Mads Mikkelsen's character, so I think it only makes sense that Doctor Strange 2 would feature two villains as well. Director Scott Derrickson has also stated he wants the movie to be even weirder than the first one, and that Marvel movies tend to work in threes, so don't be surprised to see a Doctor Strange 3 on an even more distant horizon. This gets me excited. The world of Doctor Strange is a wacky, colorful place full of Inception buildings and people who do this with their fingers a lot. Count me in. I don't know what Nightmare is all about, but I have a feeling he's going to live up to his name. Speaking of sequels to superhero movies, do y'all remember this little tiny film called Wonder Woman that made a little bit of an impact on the world as we know it? That's getting a sequel too. The DC Extended Universe is something that's kind of a big question mark for me. It's not that I don't like it. I've had a lot of fun with the DC movies, but I understand that the Warner Brothers think tank that's behind it all isn't exactly running on full steam, and they're just kind of chugging along like they're on an exercise bike where the pedals are really stiff and they're just like, come on, one more movie. Let's just get one more movie up. After Justice League, the future of the DCEU was kind of up in the air for me, and I really have no idea where they're going. I know Aquaman is still supposed to come out. Shazam is being made. I'm hoping they stay the course and they just course correct anything that may have not worked in the past. But I think we can all agree that Wonder Woman did work. Very much so, and now Wonder Woman 2 is fast-tracking its way into pre-production, and they're already looking at potential cast members. And one of the actors who they're eyeing, which makes me very excited, is Mr. Riz Ahmed. Riz Ahmed is one of those actors that you don't see all too often, but whatever he's in, he absolutely kills it. The first time I saw him was in Nightcrawler, and I absolutely loved him in it. And then he showed up in a little movie called Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and he ended up being my favorite character in that. So Riz Ahmed is a face that I will welcome in any movie. Now, Riz is being eyed for one of two prominent new roles in Wonder Woman 2. But the thing is, Warner Brothers is being very hush-hush and whoosh-whoosh about what these two roles might be. Now, I don't know a whole lot about Wonder Woman lore. I don't know all the backstory, her villains. I know Cheetah is a thing. but I doubt he's playing Cheetah. So who could Riz Ahmed be playing? Tell you what, if you're a comic book fan, specifically a Wonder Woman fan, chime in the comments and let's see what you think. I honestly have no idea. I know there are a lot of mad scientists in that pocket of the DC universe. Maybe he's going to be a mad scientist. Who knows? All I know is I am excited to see Riz Ahmed if he gets cast. And if he doesn't get cast in this, at least we can all look forward to him being probably the best part of the Venom movie. Y'all heard of a guy named Uwe Boll? He is the genius mastermind behind such touchstone pictures as Blood Rain or In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege Tale. Well, Uwe Boll is mad at The Rock. Yep, that's a thing, apparently. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's upcoming video game adaptation film Rampage looks like a really big, fun blockbuster that'll kick off the summer movie season, but Uwe Boll is not having fun at all. In 2009, Uwe Boll released his own film called Rampage, which is about a man who builds a suit of armor and goes on a bloody revenge spree. Then he would make 2 sequels. In 2014, he made Rampage Capital Punishment, and in 2016, he made Rampage President Down. I have not seen Rampage, but apparently it's one of his stronger movies. That's not saying much. Now that The Rock's Rampage is on its way, Uwe Boll is pissed off because he thinks this film will damage his own Rampage brand. Here's what Boll had to say in his defense. "We are living now in a world where independent movies are dead and the big players only are making all the money. That they then use developed brands and ideas from established series such as my Rampage films in order to make even more money is unfair but typical. The new Rampage movie will shrink my brand and my revenues I can make in the future with my Rampage movies. It also confuses the audience. I want that Warner's change the title, especially because the new movie has nothing to do with a Rampage and looks more like Jumanji 2 and is one of those typical feel-good popcorn bullshit movies that the studios use to brainwash America even more." Now, I'm not some big city filmmaker or anything like that, but if I had to give my opinion on this matter, here's what I would say. Mr. Boll, sir, 3 things. First of all, Jumanji 2 is already a thing. It came out in December. It's called Welcome to the Jungle, and it made a shitload of money. You probably saw it because according to the box office totals, everybody did. Second thing, Hollywood is not capitalizing off of your title Rampage. Hollywood is making a movie based off of a video game. Now, I may agree that independent features are not given as much love as these big studio adaptations that are meant to be the tentpoles of a studio's lineup, but to accuse them of infringing on your brand makes you not only ignorant, it makes you kind of silly. Third thing, The Rock's movie is not damaging your reputation, sir. Your movies are damaging your reputation. This might be one of my favorite stories that I've read in a long time. And I say, as the good, kind-hearted filmgoers that we are, we should all pitch in and buy Uwe Boll a ticket to go see Rampage on opening night. Considering tickets only cost around $16 and change, if a whole bunch of us chip in, that's only what, 10 cents a person? Let's buy Uwe Boll a ticket. Hashtag take Uwe to Rampage. That's supposed to be XMen. That's the X I'm making with my hands. The XMen movie universe is a very complicated one, and it just got a little more complicated. This year we were supposed to get not 1, not 2, but 3 X-Men movies. Now we're only getting 1. Deadpool 2 is still on its way, and it's still going to be coming at us in about a month and a half. But The New Mutants and X-Men The Dark Phoenix, which were supposed to hit in the last quarter of the year, have now both been pushed back to 2019. X-Men Dark Phoenix has been pushed back to a Valentine's Day 2019 release, while New Mutants has been pushed all the way back to August 2019. What prompted these changes? A lot of things. Reshoots, mostly. According to a few Hollywood reports, the people behind New Mutants wanted to make the movie scarier, and they owe it all to a little clown named Pennywise. Now, this is all just speculation, but according to some rumors that have been floating around, the director of New Mutants saw the movie It and walked away with the impression that their movie wasn't as scary as what they had just seen. So New Mutants is undergoing extensive reshoots to make it scarier. I don't know, what I saw in that trailer looked pretty damn scary to me. So if they're going for even more of a push, I'm legitimately going to be afraid to see that movie. There's also a much more baffling change being made to New Mutants, according to rumor. The New Mutants was supposed to have a post-credit scene that teased a very famous villain from the X-Men universe, Mr. Sinister. This guy, he was supposed to show up in the flesh, and apparently he was going to be played by none other than Hollywood hunk Jon Hamm. I would have loved this. Jon Hamm would have made a fantastic Mr. Sinister. I'm really sad we're not going to see this. Maybe Mr. Sinister will show up in the future somewhere, and maybe it will be Jon Hamm again playing him. We don't know why he was removed from New Mutants. All we know for sure is that this scene was cut and replaced with another scene starring another actor, Antonio Banderas. The post-credits scene with Jon Hamm as Mr. Sinister was removed in favor of this Antonio Banderas scene. We don't know who Banderas is playing in the scene. Apparently it's not Mr. Sinister anymore, it's somebody else entirely. This is insane. What is happening to this movie? I don't understand. I am flummoxed. Now I'm more excited to see the finished product, not for the movie itself, but just to understand what Fox is aiming at here. Dark Phoenix's move is a lot less dramatic. It was pushed back to Valentine's Day 2019 so that Fox could bump up their Freddie Mercury biopic, Bohemian Rhapsody. That was originally coming out on Christmas Day, but they moved it up into the time slot that was originally occupied by the Dark Phoenix. So Fox is shuffling their cards around, and X-Men is suffering for it, maybe? I'm going to mourn the loss of Mr. Sinister until I see what Banderas brings to the table, but in the meantime, I can only hope Jon Hamm shows up as a mutant sooner or later. This final story has me so excited, I could pee. We searched, and we searched, and we searched some more, and we left no stone unturned, and we renewed our subscription to National Geographic World over and over and over again, just so we could find Carmen Sandiego. And guess what? We found her! Well, technically, Netflix found her. Netflix has acquired the rights to Carmen Sandiego. This blows my mind. I have been waiting for Carmen Sandiego to come back for like 20 years. If you don't know who Carmen Sandiego is, she is the world's coolest criminal. She makes stealing awesome, kids. P.S. Stealing isn't awesome. I mean, just look at her. She makes crime look good. But seriously, Carmen Sandiego is coming back more than once. Apparently, Netflix is giving us not only an animated Carmen Sandiego series, but a live action one as well. And both versions of Carmen will be played by Gina Rodriguez. Jane the Virgin, more like Jane the Criminal. Am I right, folks? This news has me so excited. I really like Gina Rodriguez. I love Carmen Sandiego. I can't wait to see her play the part. I can't wait to see that big red hat and that coat. I want to see her run around the world and steal stuff and have people be like, oh my god, it's Carmen and she's stealing shit, let's go after her. And she's got all these cartoony henchmen who are doing her bidding for her. And you know, she's got like a rope in her hand and she's like, bye. And she picks up like the Statue of Liberty or something. And then she like flies up into a helicopter and she gets away. I've missed you, Carmen. I missed you so damn much. No specific release date has been announced yet for either of these shows. The animated one looks like it's coming first, and all we know is that it's due to come out at some point in 2019. I can't wait to find her! Now I'm prepared, and I'm ready for you, Carmen. You may have baffled me in the past, but this time, I've got a pictorial atlas, yo! Bring it on! I'll look up wherever you go. Brunei? You want to go to Brunei? I know that Brunei is located in northwest Borneo, and it's bordered by the Malaysian state of Sarawak. Knowledge. I'm on to you, girl. This news has me more excited than anything I have heard in a long, long time. Gina Rodriguez, I cannot wait to see you step into this role. And we already know you look pretty damn good in red. So that has been this week's edition of Real Deal. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch me ramble on about thieves and mutants, because that's what we do here. I'm Andrew Fantasia. Thanks again for watching. If you liked this, please give it a thumbs up and give some love to that subscribe button. And I will see you next time. Until then, adios. Oh, look at that. Russia's former capital, Leningrad, is built on 100 islands connected by some 400 bridges. Now that I know that, Carmen, it's over. You should just stop running while you can. Oh, a map of Norway.